Welcome back, guys, to the Don't Get It Twisted podcast. You know, it's episode 16, and I'm your girl, Nueva. We got fine Panama back in the building.
Period. What's popping?
And we got, of course, Mr. Mom Belo.
Yo. What up?
So, as you guys know, this is episode 16, and we are dedicating this episode to Daniel Mates, okay? Moment of silence, if we may. So we got some heavy topics today, but before we jump in directly, man, I had to bring this up. I had to do my research because I was scrolling on Instagram and I couldn't believe I didn't even know there was a volcano that erupted in Canary Island. Cumbre Vieja volcano it destroyed 100 homes and it's forced 5,000 people out of the area so far. We got pictures down below, and listen, this is scary to me because I've never seen a volcano erupt. I don't even think I've been close to a volcano or on land with volcanoes, and to see like lava and ash like spit out, and to see like what it does to actual cement and concrete and asphalt and like all these other properties they seem so durable. Right. I was like super shocked. And on top of that, I haven't seen one like news channel do any coverage on it. I've only seen it on social media. Like if it wasn't for social media, I probably wouldn't even be aware.
Wow, that's crazy. I did see the video. Yeah,
that is really crazy because I had no clue. And like you, I never been close. Only time I was like close to a volcano was when I was in Hawaii. Not close to, but you know, there's volcanoes in Hawaii. So like something that they warned us about, like, oh, the volcano could erupt at any time. But it was like, oh, okay, you know, like
they said this volcano has not erupted for 50 years.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. The crazy part about it too is the video that you sent, the flames is going through somebody's house, apartment or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it was literally going through someone's whole house, like just spilling up to the walls. I was like, that's what it looks like. Like to me, I was kind of fascinated for a second because I'm a science geek. Like I like stuff like that. But I was like, what happens to you? Like exactly happens to someone's body if they were to touch lava? Like does your skin just boil? Do you get like sucked up in the lava? Like you know what I mean? Like, does it work like quicksand? Like what happens exactly? Like I've never had any interaction obviously with lava.
Yeah. Right. I think you get straight burn, like third degree, but worse.
Oh,
melt.
Yeah.
Just melt.
That's so scary. And that's something that's something that we can't control. You know what I mean? Like that's a natural disaster that we have no control. We can't prepare for the earth to melt. Like,
and what sets it off? Like what, you know what I mean? I'm so curious to find out like what triggers that. I'm sure there are things below the surface of the earth that we don't even, get to see on a daily basis. But I was just like, for 50 years to come and go, and then out of nowhere.
Right.
Right.
Climate and all the machines the government got fucking with shit got some knocked off, and now somebody in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
5,000 people. And that was just like what I've seen with the coverage I've seen within the last day or two. I haven't seen anything updated today.
Now. Right.
Yeah. So I was just like.
And it makes me wonder, like, what is the aftermath? Because you know how like Katrina will come and all these hurricanes and tsunamis and they'll wipe out everything. So is the volcano the same? Like it's just.
Yes. What's probably happened like 50 years ago, it happened. And then they build around it again because 10 years went by and nothing happened. So that's the hard part too. When you live close to a volcano, your insurance, they don't give you insurance, a lot of stuff like that because they know. Like right now in Louisiana, like it's hard to get flooding insurance because guess what? It can flood anytime.
Right.
So if you stay by the ocean, like an ocean front, they won't give you flooding because they know it's going to happen soon. It just when it happens,
It just amazes me that there aren't like
precautions set up, like maybe these houses out of things that volcano can't melt.
No, but
high tech nowadays, you know what I mean? And we're so far ahead. Why don't they have these things where a volcano proof land or home. You know what I mean?
Right.
For
Right.
multiple places, though, like, you know, even when you think about California and the forest fires, like, why are things not set up or built differently?
Right.
You know, when Texas was going through what they were going through with weather, they're like, oh, well, we didn't build our homes in preparation for that. And it's like, why not? Texas is
Right.
still close to water. Like, why isn't it set up for the, you know what I mean? Like,
Right. Right.
it
Right.
just
Right.
makes you think, like, we have all this technology and I just feel like we don't use it always to our benefit. So
Yeah.
prayers to Canary Island, man, because they are going through it. And if we find out any ways that you can support, man, we will let you know. I'm going to keep up with that topic. We will let you know.
For sure. For sure. I do have a question though
Yeah.
on the subject and off the subject.
Oh shit.
Okay.
Where do you like? Do you think the volcano flames come from hell?
Yo, you're a savage. First of all, I think when you're in hell, the devil don't need to find you. You're already
No,
there.
but I'm saying, but
So
if
when
you
you
think,
on top of a volcano, I don't know if that's the devil. I
no,
think
no,
you're
I'm not.
already there.
No, I'm not saying it's the devil. I'm saying, you know how they say when you go to hell you burn, and they say it's in the ground, right?
God, don't say
So
that.
you think about that. Like, do you think that? Like, I know the core of Earth is hot. I do know that for sure. I do know like I do know that.
I'm glad.
It's just something to think about. Like, damn, where it come from? You know what I mean? Like, I know
That's
some.
what I'm saying.
I know it's a scientific way where it makes this, and then the flames come from that, and I know that, but it's just like something to think about. Like, damn, does it really come like from hell? Like,
Or do you think there's someone like pushing a button somewhere and they
that
like,
could
yo,
be too.
we gonna get him.
Get them. Yeah,
Like, yo,
that's crazy.
period.
Right.
So
Period.
they can't burn this whole shit down.
For
Yo,
real.
imagine though, don't play.
That'd be
That,
so
you know what? No, Panama for real.
Back in
Let
California,
me
I think it be
stop
happening.
because
Yeah, with them forest fires and all that too.
Right.
Like,
yeah, like who knows? Now
but don't
you
y'all?
got
But
my
don't
mind
y'all?
racing. I'm so mad at you. You got my mind
Right.
racing.
I'm
But
like,
yo, but look though, don't y'all know? I'm not want. I want to stay along on it, but when you have a volcano and forest fire, it changed the weather. It changed stuff because it goes. The ashes goes
In
up
the
in
atmosphere
clouds
and in the
and
air,
stuff
and
like
yeah,
that. So it changes a lot in the
I can
atmosphere.
only imagine the air quality over there right now.
It's
right.
horrible. Yeah, yeah.
It's probably really
Horrible.
hard for people to breathe, and
And it's pretty
That's what
much
I'm
like
saying.
flu season. It's
Right.
sad. It's tragic. Like I have no idea.
right, the aftermath of everything is probably just gonna be crazy. And prayers to those people, and I hope we can get some relief to them and
Yeah,
get it figured out for them, because that's terrible.
100%.
I agree.
Speaking of getting relief to people, did you guys see what was going on in Texas with the Haitian migrants?
Yeah, I've seen that. That was crazy.
That is, I really don't actually have words. Like when I saw it, it was something like out of my third grade and like 10th grade, 9th grade history when they talk about the Civil War and they show you clips. Like that's literally how I felt to see like officers on a horse with whips, Like, and you know what's crazy? Like, there was no one being like, oh, no, no, no. You know what I mean? Like, none of the other officers. It was just like, we gonna get him.
Imagine the person that was taking a picture.
Okay, you know what? Valid point.
Weirdo.
How do you
Weirdo.
feel? How do you
Weirdo.
feel about that person taking the picture? Do you think that person should have been taking the picture? Do you think that person should have intervened? Actually,
I mean, but I'm at 50-50 because if we didn't have the picture, we wouldn't have the evidence. But my thing is, what do you think that person that was taking the picture was thinking? That's my logic.
I don't know because they still just sat there and took. I mean, we know. I really don't know. I wasn't there. Who knows if they took the picture and then tried to intervene? But it's just like I don't know. I would feel guilty taking a picture like that. And I know it sounds crazy because technically you can utilize social media and like media in general, and a picture's worth 1,000 words. But I would be like sick to my stomach. My stomach would be in knots. I wouldn't even know what to do. So that person, I could only imagine whether they were going through a moment of fear, whether they were like, hey, I'm from this country and this is how we treat people. Like, who knows what was going through their mind?
Right.
The images of women, children, men, like walking through rivers of water just to get to the land was enough for me to be like, okay, wherever they were coming from, and obviously it was Haiti, but like anyone who would be in a position like that obviously really needed safety and refuge.
And they have food in their hands. That's the bad part.
Yeah.
Like everybody was carrying food, so it's like, bruh.
Yeah, nobody came empty-handed. Everybody came with resources, supplies, not just their own stuff, like things that they would need to, keep going forward. They didn't like rely on just our resources. So I don't know. Like, I just think it's crazy that they actually were treated the way they were treated and then sent back.
Exactly.
I don't think they should have even been sent back. Like, I'm shocked. I think there should somehow, like, on maybe look, United States is 50 states. I think there should be 4 points, maybe Florida, California, New York, and somewhere else that you can literally just seek refuge, safety.
Right.
Yeah, like if your country's, and the United States should help you get paperwork properly, get assorted, and get your things in order. That way you can function like the rest of us.
Right, because a lot of those people, they were sent to like prisons or jails or whatever. With
Jails, prisons,
where
they
the
were sent
killers.
back
I
on
was trying to look at
planes.
what jail that they're in, prison they're in, but it's like they was sent with the Stone Cold Killers, so that's crazy.
Yeah, think about that. Like, you're coming from another country where, and like some of the footage was heartbreaking. Like, some of the teenagers were not even teenagers, young adults were like, we go to school and we do what we're supposed to do and we graduate and we study and we work really hard, and then when we graduate there are no jobs.
Right.
How are we supposed to maintain? And then on top of that, their president was assassinated, and on top of that, their country suffered a massive earthquake. Not a little under one scale earthquake, like a massive, what was it, 7.3, I believe, or 7.5.
Yep.
Like, that's huge in magnitude. So it's like, how can we say we're one of the greatest countries on earth and treat any human being like that?
How? That means we're not great.
No.
Right.
We are so far from great.
It's a make believe that we're great, so foreigners can come here and feel that it's great.
It's tragic.
Yeah.
Super tragic. And again, it's like lack of coverage. Like, if I wasn't someone in tune with social media, I wouldn't even know what's going on.
Right.
Even if I watch the news continuously, like, the news does not always report updated news. I've seen Gabby Petito on the news every day. And rest in peace to Gabby, 100%, because it's crazy that she went out and didn't make it home. And that's sad. It's tragic. But there are also things going on in the world that are affecting so many lives, and the lack of coverage.
Yeah, because I
see
a lot of
on the Gabby Petito situation, and it is so unfortunate that this happened to her, that she was missing and they found her body. But it's like,
so sad.
They brought in the FBI. It was on Facebook. It was on Instagram. It was national, worldwide news when these white folks came up missing. But there was just a boy,
I was just about to say that.
Jelani Day, whose body was found in the Illinois River. And what coverage did we have of that? Barely any. The FBI didn't come in and do nothing. Like, it's just favoritism. It's sad. You know what I mean? Like,
and that's crazy.
Into one specific race of people, but not the other.
Yeah. And it's crazy you say that, because today, as I was watching the news and Gabby Petito's story came up, I don't even know who you're referencing, the boy who they found.
Right.
And after I saw, Gabby's, I think they were doing a memorial for her. They were doing a memorial in Florida. She's, I think, originally from Long Island, and I guess her boyfriend and his family is from Florida. So they did one. They were doing coverage for Florida, New York, and as well as, I believe it was Montana or Colorado where she went missing.
Right.
And I was on social media right after that. Daniel Robinson, a geologist from Colombia, was last seen leaving a job site in the Arizona desert, 50 miles southwest of Phoenix, on June 23rd. He was reported missing later that day and has not been heard or seen since. Missing. Another Black man exactly what you're talking about, and no coverage. Like, someone's been missing since June, and they were actually a geologist, like, have a great job, great title, graduate degree, all these things, and we don't even know.
Right. And the
Yeah,
same
because somebody they know took them.
right. About Jelani Day, they were saying the mother was saying how, as like it says that they found his body September 4th, but she said before, I'm not sure exactly when he went missing or any of that, but before, she says, as time went on, the police department slowed down their efforts into finding him. But these white people have been missing for quite some time now, and there hasn't been no effort to stop.
A month, August 25th or 27th, a month, 30 days.
That's
30
crazy.
days.
Yeah.
Is that so? Like, yeah, like I don't even know. Like, is it the people who are closest to the people who are missing who push that? Is that the city? Is that the police department? Like, who is that? Just the media? And is that the response the media gets from, viewers? Like, that viewers are interested and the ratings are up, so let's put more of this. Like, what determines those things?
I know. I mean, it's called whitewash, to be honest.
Yeah.
What I noticed, because I watched a lot of those crime shows, and most of the black families, they solve their own crimes.
They do.
To their family. So, like, while the cops are saying, "Oh, we don't know if he, because the boy was, had a problem where he robbed somebody back in the day or something," they don't push for the effort. So the mom go out, and the family, they go out in the streets and ask questions, putting flyers out.
Right.
And a lot of times they solve the crime, to be honest with you, in black cases. When I watch those shows, a lot of the black families, they solve it. So example, like, say if y'all my sisters and something happened to our brother, we will be out there passing out flyers, driving out to Long Island, asking people questions door to door, and then we will go to the FBI and say, "Hey, this is what we found." Again, once we crack something, then they're like, "Oh, okay, let's get it. Now we got the crime."
There's a cookie trail.
We'll take all the credit for
take all the credit. They don't give you
search or whatever type of situation it ends up being. They'll take all the credit. They don't even be like,
or if
family were made to really solve the case.
The family kept pushing and found evidence, and
or if the crime is not solved, then they're blaming on the family. Oh, you guys are going too hard. You should have stayed in your place. You should have waited. So they're blaming on the family for going hard, but they just sit on their butt.
Correct.
If you Google how many cases unsolved in African American and Hispanic community, it'd be like crazy. And I just seen some type of video where in Georgia it was a sting.
A sting?
Like a child pornography sting?
I think it was right. No, it was. I mean, when they found kid, they were missing.
So I'm gonna be honest.
It was from 2 years old.
I don't know what sting means. I'm sorry.
A sting is what happens when.
I'm sorry, just to show you how out of it I am. I don't know what that means.
The police will watch a certain organization or like a certain illegal activity for a while, build up evidence,
rate it.
And they'll rate one day. They'll do a sting where they'll kick down doors and they'll arrest anybody who is in the building or in the vicinity. That's
right. And what was touching the youngest little girl was 2 years old.
That sounds exactly like what I'm talking about with the child pornography sting that they just did, where there was like 40 something black kids that were missing and the youngest was 3.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was a child pornography. That was sex trafficking, not the
sex trafficking. That was some sex trafficking. Sex trafficking.
So they put a team together and like did a stakeout type situation, built up evidence, and
they found that some of the people, like all the people that were arrested, these were people that worked at Disneyland, Disney World.
No.
Yes, they were people that were a part of the community somehow. Not all of them, but some of them.
2 or 3 years old, yo. That's
sick.
Trafficking children.
That is sick.
What activities are you even putting children into? Like, is it sex stuff? Is it
Yeah,
like
sex
That's
trafficking.
sex trafficking.
They sell them so people can do whatever they want to them and have them locked up somewhere just doing whatever they want them to do, which is usually sexual things, and it's sickening.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Disney? Like they had the pick of the litter at that point.
Yeah,
40 kids.
40
Oh
kids.
my gosh. That was like recently in Atlanta.
That
This
was
was
just
like
this week,
yeah,
last week. Yeah.
like a few weeks ago. They let it out that they arrested all these people and found all these kids. Like that's crazy. Like what were all
So
the kids in one
that's 40.
house
Right. So that's
Yeah.
40 kids.
that were missing or
No, just
you know?
they're going to be messed up. They're going to be messed up now for the rest of their lives.
Oh yeah. A lot of them might just turn to prostitution and the gangs, and because they have all this trauma and abuse that they're gonna have to deal with. And you think that they're giving them counseling? No, they don't care. They're gonna send them back to their homes fucked up.
Yeah. And they're not even gonna
Yeah,
give
give them the
resources to the family.
No, they're not. They don't care. Here's your child that was just returned from you from a sex trafficking operation, and now this is now the fact that their child was missing and they finally got them back. Now their child's not going to be the same,
Right.
you know. And I watched that this episode on the Chai, and I know it's like based on true stories or whatever, and there was a girl Brenda that got kidnapped by a man in the neighborhood. He kidnapped her and got her pregnant, and he was like had her locked up in the basement of his house, just doing whatever to her. And it was actually a man in the neighborhood who had previously he had previously shot a kid. So everybody thought he was a murderer. And I'm saying this to draw points, okay? Just follow me. So he shot a kid who his son was killed, right? And when he was killed by the cop, he was killed by a cop because his kid was a basketball player, whatever. He seen the cop and them doing illegal shit, so the cop killed him, left his body in the street. Another kid comes along and sees the dead body and steals the chain and the shoes off of him, which is not right.
Right.
It's weird, but he didn't kill the boy. You know what I mean? But so when this man found out that his son was dead, he's going around trying to figure out who killed his son because the police ain't doing shit because they're covering it up because the police did it.
That's it. See, that's what I was saying. The
Right.
they gotta go put it on him.
Found the kid, very distinctive young kid, and accidentally ends up shooting him, thinking that he robbed and killed his son. But really,
When he was just
his
taking
son was already dead, and he took his jewelry and shoes off.
That's a show.
Yes, the Chai. It's really
Yeah.
good. So this man was labeled as a kid murderer from in his town. Like nobody fuck with him. All the kids were scared of him because he killed a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
of course.
This man ended up being the one to go rescue the little girl from the creepo that kidnapped the girl. You know what I mean? And I say that because just to tie everything off, in my hometown, there was a story that happened, I think like 2 months ago. And some kids I went to high school with were drinking and driving. I guess Daniel was a driver, and another woman, a girl named Cynthia, rest in peace to Cynthia, was in the passenger seat, and they're driving home or whatever, and Daniel gets on the wrong way and crashes into another car. Everybody lives except for Cynthia. Cynthia dies, right? And it's so unfortunate. It's sad, you know what I mean? I hope that family can heal and try to piece their life back together and move forward. But in my town, everybody is calling Daniel a murderer and saying that he should be thrown under the book and he deserves to be in prison for the rest of his life. And I'm just like, that is so unfair. You know what I mean? He made a tragic mistake. It is sad that somebody died at the hands of him, and he's gonna have to live with that the rest of his life. And that's a big thing to carry. And I'm just like, you guys have to realize that we went to high school together. We know both of them. They're both so sweet and genuine souls. And I know that he did not go out that it was manslaughter. It wasn't premeditated. He didn't intend for this to happen. But because this happened, he does have to be a man, stand up and do whatever time he is the judge grants him to do. You know what I mean? I'm like, he should still have the opportunity to come home one day and try to rectify his life, and you know, his life shouldn't be over because he got drunk and made a mistake. You know, maybe his life will change, maybe the man will never drink again. You never know, you know what I mean? But everybody that we used to kick it with just turn their back on him. I just don't understand it, and now I'm like public enemy number one in my town because they're just like, how can you defend a murderer? And I'm just like, he's not a murderer. He
didn't go out with intent.
Everybody made a decision to drink, and everybody made a decision.
That is my whole point.
Do you know if they were drinking at home and then left, or do you? Because if they were at a venue, the venue is really the one who's responsible.
We're venue. We're adults now. We're not, you know, we but we're all over the age of 20.
Over the age, right?
But my thing is, everybody is treating this like some justice for Cynthia, but it's like Cynthia was a grown ass woman, and she was drinking.
She got in the car
to put her life in the hands of somebody who was drinking or driving. That's her mistake, and she paid for her mistake with death. That's what God felt like she deserved. You can't be mad at nobody else because she's the only person that died. You know what I mean? And I know y'all are hurting. It hurts. So you need somebody to blame and you want somebody to suffer. But
you know what that remind me of? Of when Aaliyah died and when Left Eye died. Same situation. One person died out of a car mini. And it's like, you know, they said that the plane was too heavy, and
Aaliyah knew it. Small plane. She doesn't like to ride in small planes.
Small planes.
They needed to make it there on time.
Make it there, and it was overcrowded, and she chose to get on, and it crashed.
She never usually does with a small plane.
That's what I'm saying. And she got on, and she's the only one died out of 6 or 7 people. And Left Eye, same situation. They were driving, it crashed. Left Eye died. Everybody else stayed alive.
Right.
But it's like
situations like that for me, and I'm not trying to be insensitive at all, but situations like that for me, the way my perspective works, obviously Aaliyah and Left Eye were on, like, you know, a national scale, but even so with Cynthia, like things like that, I look at that as like their deaths were almost sacrifices. Not necessarily, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like, who know? I don't know, Daniel. I don't know how long he's been drinking. I don't know if this was just, you know, it's the first drink, not the last. And then once you have your first drink, your judgment is impaired. All your choices after that may not be the best choices. Your brain is already affected. So getting behind the wheel of a car intoxicated can not only damage your life, it can end someone's life. I don't think it was premeditated, obviously.
Of course not.
But, you know, maybe Cynthia was the sacrifice for everybody in that car, not just Daniel.
And not just for this situation.
For everyone who's it's touching too, everyone's life.
I said, where I grew up in Escondido, California. A lot of people don't know even what that is. It's on the outskirts of San Diego. And everybody, you know, it was majority a Hispanic community. And everybody pushed this YOLO. Anybody know what YOLO means? You only live once. Push this on all of us at a young age. Like, everybody lived by it. Everybody was drinking and smoking and ditching school.
It was Drake. Drake did it.
It was Drake. Drake put out that song and people stuck with it and they rode with it. And so all of y'all, I remember all of y'all singing YOLO, participating in YOLO activities. You know what I mean? And if you think about it from a realistic standpoint, who has not gotten in the car with somebody they knew that was under the influence? Because it's like, oh, they drink like that all the time. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, I have. It only was because I got a DUI. I had my own. And if I didn't have that lesson, I probably would get in the car with my friends. Exactly. And if I didn't see someone who, like, one of my first funerals as a child actually was my sister's best friend's sister. And she got in the car with a drunk driver. She actually went out with her friend. They were meeting up with, I think, 2 or 3 other guys. They went to the club, went to the first spot. They're going to the next spot. The friend says, come on, Rashida, you ready to go? Rashida was like, I'm going to ride with them. Her friend doesn't drink. Her friend was the DD. Man, Rashida did not make it home. Rashida was the only one who died. Same thing. The driver had to live with that. And I can only imagine what Cynthia's parents are going through. Because when I went to that funeral, her father was distraught. Her twin siblings will never be the same again. But guess what? That was my first funeral as a child, and I still had a DUI later in life.
Right.
So, you know, some people it hits you differently. Some people there's different measurements, you know, that have to occur for it to hit you harder. And
Right.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know Daniel.
What I don't get though is
I don't think he should be. Yeah, I don't think he should be like charged with that, because you know what? This experience might set his life on such a different path that he helped so many other people not
to drink
have
and
this
drive.
not occur with the same mistake. He might save so many other lives.
Right. And my thing is, I understand how people feel. I'm not saying he needs to walk away scot-free and not serve any time. That's
right.
Not what I'm saying is, I'm sorry, I'm out of breath. I was ramping stairs. People should not be like they had a post asking people to write character letters, you know, so that he can get a leniency sentence, you know, like so the judge can show mercy on him. To not think that he's just some low life that just got behind, you know what I mean? Because that's not what he is. We know him.
And me, I'm a
people telling us, oh, don't write letters for a murderer. And that's so unfair. If you feel like he's this and that and you don't support him, keep that over here. Don't try to discourage people that know him from trying to support him still and show him that he still has friends and people that are going to stand behind him and help him to get through this journey, because it's a lot. His whole life changed too. You know what I mean? That's my whole thing. I'm just trying to show people that he's not, Cynthia and her family are not the only ones suffering. You know what I mean? And like nothing that Daniel does is going to change the fact that Cynthia's gone. She's gone. Can't bring nobody back. It doesn't matter if he spends the rest of his life in jail, or, you know, gets out tomorrow and becomes a millionaire and moves to the moon. It doesn't matter what he does in life. She's gone. You know what I mean? So why? Because Cynthia's gone, does somebody else's life have to be gone too?
You know that's what I mean? The thing. Yeah. Like if you really value human life,
then you don't show favoritism.
And you wouldn't want somebody to rot in jail forever. Yes, you would love to teach them a lesson and almost rehabilitate them to become a better person. Like he did not leave his house and say,
unless they premeditated, then you gotta suffer. But I get it.
Of course.
100%. No, 100%.
Right.
It was premeditated, but this is the same thing as like a car accident. This is a car accident.
It is an accident.
Alcohol just happened to be involved. Right. But I've been a bartender for years. The venue, if they came from a venue, the venue is 100% responsible. You cannot serve people alcohol and let them leave. If there was a bartender involved, that is her license. That is the club's license or the bar's license. That's the bar's insurance. That's the club's insurance. And she could lose her license. She could never bartend again, or he could never bartend again if that was the potential case. And I think that's what his family, his lawyer, and the judge, if that was a factor, should be pushing for. And that's really where the blame should come from, because those are
see me, I'm
serving alcohol.
I'm a root cause person. I like root cause. So like the biggest situation is alcohol here. And granted, we all have our own mind. We can you know, drink it or not, but most alcoholics is addict. You know, they're addicted to it.
Right. And so just to cut you off real quick, some people don't know how severe or mild their addiction to these substances are. They think, well, I'm just drinking, but they don't know that you do have an addiction. They're not aware of it. You know what I mean? And maybe Daniel will change his life and realize, okay, I had an addiction. You know what I mean?
Do you think he has an addiction, or do you think he made a poor choice? Like you know him, right?
I know him as a kid. You know what I mean? Not really as a young adult. Okay. So I don't know how much he would drink on a day, or you know what I mean? But I know as a collective, we don't think that us drinking alcohol in the high school bathrooms, you know, out of water bottles, is us forming an addiction. You get me?
It
Like
could
it,
be. Yeah,
you know what I mean? We've been
100%.
drinking since we was like 14, 15 behind our parents' back. And, just so we don't realize the severity of it. You get me? And maybe this had to happen for him to realize and look himself in the mirror and say, okay, I have an addiction. Or, I mean, I don't know what he's going through. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
You don't know if it was just like a night out and he made a poor choice under the influence, or if
Right.
he has
Or
a
if
real
he's fighting an
problem.
addiction and just couldn't not have a drink or what. I'm not sure, but I just feel like he deserves leniency. He deserves to come home one day and be able to rectify his life. His life shouldn't be over because he made this terrible mistake, because what people are not accounting is that he has to live with this. You know what I mean? Like, you're not the judge. I'm not the judge. The judge is going to give him his time. He's going to serve it, which in the state of California, the maximum you can even do for manslaughter is 11 years. And people do not even do 11 years. If he got 11 years, he'll do 6. You know what I mean? So regardless, my point is he is going to come home one day, and he shouldn't have to feel like the whole city hates him and he's a murderer. You know what I mean? Because that's just not fair. Like, he already has to live with what he did, and killing one of our friends, and you know what I mean? And it changed his life, and he's about to be in jail for a minute. And it's just like, nobody give a fuck about Daniel. You get me? Like, everybody's just like, justice for Cynthia, justice for Cynthia. But it's like, what does justice look like? The nigga is in jail. What more do y'all want? You get me?
You know what? If it was flipped where a guy died and a woman was there, it would be sympathy for her.
Exactly. I don't feel like it would be the same. Like, I don't feel like they would make
That is 100%
a monster murder.
Everybody would be crying and emotional.
Oh my God, she didn't mean to. She's a
they would
young girl. She has her whole
different
future
things that
ahead.
they've gone through in their life, and she was going through this, and she was battling depression and this, and they would find any reason to make her still look innocent. But
just because he's a man, they want him to suffer for what he
He's
did.
a man, and he's a man of color.
And he's a man of color. So now it's
They're going to try to rape him.
I'm not for that. So I want everybody to know that watches this, that I stand behind him, and I want him to have leniency. I pray to God that the judge shows mercy on him and he doesn't sit under a jailhouse for the rest of his life for a mistake. And I don't really care how anybody feels about that.
True that. And we got your back on that one too, Panama.
100%. Yeah, if you need anything, if you know, any way we can support and things like that, 100% keep us posted. Like,
for sure. If you got
and I'm just not somebody that just sits around and talks about stuff, and I'm trying to make I actually wrote this some encouragement. You know what I mean? I took it before I even went live and did this or asked, to do the pod about him. I took the time to address him and ask him, is this okay? And, keep your head on a swivel and stay up in your life. Just encouragement, because I know how I don't even know how it could feel to be in that position, and everybody and I know he's hearing everything from the outside world, you know what I mean? Because his nieces and them are just trying to, well, Dan, you know what I mean? It's like, y'all don't need to explain nothing. Who's going to support you, and who's not. You got to say, forget him, because people are so judgmental. And it's like, me as a mother, I know kids do dumb shit. I was a kid once. I did dumb shit. And just because a kid is your kid does not mean that they're just innocent and they don't do dumb shit. You have to account that kids do dumb shit all the time. Young adults, young kids, they do dumb shit. Like, sometimes they pay for it with their life. That's just the reality of it. Like, it sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, 100%. I'll tell you, I had a DUI. I was actually leaving work. I was working at the bar, and I also got roofied. And I flipped my SUV over on an interstate. I was so lucky to be alive. I had to have like glass removed out of my eye, a bunch of things. This was maybe about 6 years ago. 6 years ago? I think 6 years now. Yes. And when I woke up, I was handcuffed to a hospital bed. When I tell you,
catalyst to your song, right? Where you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the lyrics to my song. I was handcuffed to a hospital bed, and when I tell you I woke up, I didn't know what happened. I didn't know where I was.
What is going on?
I had no idea. I was like, why am I handcuffed? The last thing I remembered was like going into work. That was the last thing I had remembered. I hit another car. Nobody was hurt, thank God. The other car was like just a little damage, but like my car flipped, it rolled, the whole nine. And when I like realized what was going on, I was like, did I kill somebody? Like, what happened? Like, my stomach dropped. I like immediately just started crying. They were like, no, you didn't kill anybody, but you've been in a drunk driving accident and you were this and this and that. And when they gave me the hospital report of what was in my system, first of all, I don't even take those. I've never experimented with those. At most, I've smoked weed.
Right.
It was like crazy. And I, like me being in that situation, I can't imagine what Daniel's feeling. Like, I can't.
Did somebody put something in your drink?
So when I was making drinks at the bar, and the only who told the man, so listen to this. This is what's worse about the situation. So one of the managers there who like loved me, he was like one of my good friends. He showed me the tape, and somebody like leaned over the bar, and while I was making like 4 drinks at a time, and like 2 were done, and I was making my other 2, sprinkled something in one of the drinks.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 2 of the drinks, actually 2 of the drinks. Mine, another girl. The other girl actually got super sick at the bar, but I had left. I was working like the earlier shift.
Right.
And I had gotten in my car.
Drugs are introduced to your body. Sometimes it could take longer to affect.
But you know what? Had I not been drinking at all, it would have never happened, one.
Right.
And like, you know, if I just wasn't even comfortable drinking at work and say, let's just say I had even one and I didn't have another one. You know what I mean? Say that was the one that was roofied, right? Something would feel off immediately. But because I was already intoxicated,
your judgment
hit me right away. My judgment was already messed up. Like, so I got in my car, which normally, even when I'm drinking, I will like sit at the bar. I'll wait, especially after my shift. I'll just drink water and then I will leave. Man, I left. I put my life in danger. I put so many other people in danger.
But it's stupid.
I'm so lucky to be here still and like even be able to talk about it.
Right. It's stupid that he did that without a cause. Why did you do that for?
No. So that guy actually got caught later. He was like abducting women. He was like roofing them. He was like the whole nine. They found him in a park with another woman. I think.
So he was trying to get you.
Yeah. Like, so even that, like when I did get my DUI, I was technically blessed and technically fortunate as hell because one, I never went back to that job. I never went back. I quit the bar. That was like my last time. I was done.
Right.
It is unfortunate that it had to be such an extreme experience for me to get out. Right. But that's what got me out. My life was my priority at that point. My health was my priority at that point. And so I'll tell you even like a funny story. I went out like a couple weeks back with one of my friend's friends. She's a sweetheart. And when I tell you, you know, people like to go out, they like to drink, they like to have a good time. I think it was her car, she was driving. I think she only had like maybe 2 drinks because I think the third one, she was not about it. But when it comes like time to the end of the night and I got to go home, my Uber is like $42. My plan was to go with them. I actually didn't have my license again yet. So I couldn't like drive the car. But when I tell you, I got in the car, she was like, I can't drive. My boyfriend's going to drive. Her boyfriend is driving. I swear to you. So we're in a Jeep. Now we're driving and I'm feeling the Jeep. I'm feeling the Jeep do this. We're going about 60 miles an hour. I'm feeling the wind cut through the car. I said, let me out. Y'all got to let me out. Y'all got to let me out. They're like, no, like we're going to take you home. You good. I said, nah, he's drunk. Y'all don't feel the car swerving.
Right.
I can feel the car tipping and teeter-tottering, and we in an SUV, just like my car, which was an SUV. I said, nah, y'all need to let me out right now. So they let me out. And that was good too, because, you know, they could go to their destination. But even that, I was like, yo, do y'all want to get in my Uber? Like, what do y'all want to do? I didn't want them to drive. I was so scared that they weren't going to make it home. But if I didn't go through any of those experiences, I wouldn't even have the balls to be like, let me out.
Let me out. Right. Like, it's all right. I'm just get home. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't even drink, so I already know. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I don't drink the same. I will say, no, for real. Let me tell you, I don't like alcohol. I don't like what it does to people. I don't like how you kind of can't trust yourself when you're on it. And it's not because you're unworthy, like you're going to make bad choices because you're a bad person or because you're an angry person when you drink or anything like that. It's just the way it affects the brain and the circuits in your brain, the things it does to you.
My whole family on the drinks, but the Wilders, when they drink, they act wild. So, you know what I mean? I'm already a screw loose. So like if I get on something to top, it's a wrap. Like I will be like back to my old ways.
Who, you?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So I gotta stay off of it. It's just like a, like what you call him? It's Incredible Hulk when he take that little stuff and he yeah.
That's the thing about alcohol. Like, and my mom says this to me all the time, and I appreciate this line so much. It's not the last drink, it's the first. It's the first one that affects your judgment, that allows you to even want the second one, even if you don't need it, or, not pace yourself or whatever.
I know, just me personally, when I drink, I want more. You get me? Like after I have my first drink, okay, I need another drink. And I need
another round.
Last time I drunk something, I had a bottle in the club, and they said I was standing in the middle of the club, icing everybody, like going up to them, looking at them in their face, like what's up? And people like, yo, chill out, bro. Like, fall back, yo. And I'm like, nah, son, like, just wilding. So, like,
yeah.
And that was me drinking without even, like, I'm in the mix, like, okay, let me just get a bottle and drink it. And I'm just drinking out the bottle, like, oh, shoot. And that champagne caught up on me, like.
And that's the thing, like, when I drink like that, like, I keep drinking because I'm like, I don't feel it yet. You know what I mean? I want to feel. And then
like
before
all of a sudden,
up, and I'm just like, oh no, I did too much this time. You know what I mean? Like,
damn.
Time, like, now I'm wobbling.
You're praying to God, huh? Like, I'll never do it again.
I don't want to be drunk no more.
And then right back a couple weeks later, a couple months later, whatever the next occasion is. Oh, well, we drink it.
But now I limit myself, and I try to just stick with wine and take it slow, and
That's crazy.
Wine is the worst, I heard, though.
It is. If you drink too much, in the worst hangover ever is a wine.
Yeah. My sister's, she drink wine, and she said, like, you can be drinking it, like, sociable, and then when you stand up, the room be like, oh.
Yes, because you won't feel it until you get to moving.
That's what she said. She was like, yeah, so like that's like but that's how that champagne was, because I'm drinking it.
All affect you so differently.
And then all I know, the room was spinning, and it just seemed like.
Let me tell you,
people was messing with me. I'm going like, what you say, dog? He like, I ain't say nothing to you. I'm like,
okay.
I fell off the chair on Don Perignon. Okay, I'm sitting just like I'm sitting right now, and I fell off the chair.
Damn.
Just no, Panama. Stop! I'm telling you, like clear as day. Just rock with it. Yeah, and I'm like, I said I have to go home. I don't know why I'm like this, and that was like maybe 1 or 2 glasses of Dom Perignon, and that's like a heavy champagne that after that I said I never want this again. I felt special popping that bottle in the club. I was like, no, this isn't special.
Yeah.
But that's like, I wonder, like, alcohol is alcohol, but they all affect the brain so differently. And then I wonder what makes you black out. What makes you angry? What makes you, there's some people who drink and they're like super happy. And then there's some people who drink and they're like so sad and just emotional. Yeah. And I'm wondering.
Well, I just, them niggas one of those, they happy as hell off drink drunk. Cause I be praying, I be like, yo, as soon as I start feeling like, oh no, I don't want to do it. I'm trying to shake it. Cause I like to be at my 100% of mine all the time.
Right.
So like the times I did try, it's like, oh, okay. Then I slip over and then I'm like, oh shoot, the room moving. And then I just get mad at everything because I'm like, yo, I shouldn't be like this.
You want to be
in control. Right, that's not human.
Not in control. Something else is. Patricia.
That's what I'm saying. So like being in a club, what if somebody start popping off, shooting? You just sitting there like this. Your mind ain't thinking like, yo, let me get the F out of here. You sitting in the middle.
Gonna wake your ass up.
Yeah, or you're gonna be right on that couch. You gonna be on that couch, sitting, everybody running past you. You just like,
what's the occasion?
What's going on? What's popping? Nobody gave me an invite.
It's crazy. When I had my DUI, let me tell you, I didn't have like money set to the side for a lawyer. Like I had my rent, I had a high rent at the time. I had my car note, I had all these bills. And when I tell you, I had to go into court with a public defender
Bro,
for
that
a
is
DUI. And that was like after trying to like work out payment plans with other lawyers and like just somehow like make it work. I had to go with a public defender. I had seen so many other cases where people went with a great lawyer and like it'd be their first DUI. Then there's some people it was their second DUI, and the second DUIs only had to do like 6 to 8 months suspension with their license, no interlock in the car, no program, just had to pay the little fine and be on their way. You know, lawyers is like, hey, judge, great to see you again. Da, 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 da. You know, like that lawyer game. Oh my God.
But you know what? You know what though? All they doing is pushing them out just to kill somebody. That's all.
Yo, 100%. But let me tell you, I had to do a 16-week program like I was a drug addict. I was not a drug addict. When I went to this program, I said, oh yeah, I'm definitely not a drug addict.
right.
No. And I feel bad laughing.
I don't belong here with y'all, but you
know,
right.
Let me tell you, I was like, oh no, I made a bad choice under the influence of alcohol. Like it's a huge difference.
And it wasn't even your fault. Like somebody hit you up, so it wasn't even
100%. I don't think I would have gotten in the car. I don't think I would have gotten in the car and went home. But I'll tell you, like I had such a bad feeling that day about work too. Like, and I should have listened to my gut.
And ladies too, you got to realize too, just because you're drunk and getting in an Uber, you're not safe as well. Some Uber drivers is off the chain too. So like, you got to think that through as well, because just thinking, oh, I'm gonna get an Uber. If you're like, if you're like Dia was, and she don't even know what's going on. That Uber driver might be looking at her like, because you might be saying something that you don't usually say, like, "Ooh, sexy guy, man, come here." He like, okay. So
who knows? You might even be calling somebody else that you know, talking nasty to them, and then
that's what I'm saying.
Like,
and then they come pick you up thinking it's all game, and then you wake up the next day like, what am I doing at your crib? Now you thinking like he did something wrong, but he really didn't.
He might not have. Yeah.
Right. So it's a bunch of things behind drinking and putting yourself in positions like that. But when Dia's situation, she didn't do nothing. I mean, the guy did.
Honestly, I still made poor choices that day. I should not have been drinking.
But still, you were given the chance to rectify that. You know what I mean? And come home and change your life and do different things so where that didn't happen again. I feel like everybody deserves that opportunity to.
Yeah, he's gonna have a fine out the ass. His license, the amount of money he's going to give the DMV, you know, the suspension on his license. I had to drive with an interlock in my car, which I had to pay. I think I had to pay like $100 to set up. Yeah, so I'm gonna even tell you about that. I think I had to pay $100 to set it up, and then it was like $80 a month for 6 months.
For what? The interlock.
The interlock.
So I think personally, I think every car should actually have an interlock built in with it for you to start the car. Just to start the car. That way it won't start. If you're
driving, it won't start. So it would save lives.
All right. So so that's good to know, because you know, when my kids get older, I'll make sure that's in their car.
Yo, no, it's not like
Where it's born. So hey, call me, yo. I'm gonna put my number on the dash. Yo, hit me up. Yo, don't be drinking and driving.
Yo,
the car don't start this car.
Because I don't drink, so it might skip me.
Yes, it's like that. Yep.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I mean, even that, like, the crazy thing is the interlock, technically, if like I was a real alcoholic, I could be like, hey, I'll pay you $20 to blow into my interlock and it'll just work and my car would start like a psycho. But if you're a real addict, like you will do things like that. That's not, you know. But I think that every car should actually just have it built in, or like
who be putting it in.
So there's the company I used was called Smart Start. They have a bunch of different companies, Smart Start, and maybe one other company or two other companies, and you basically have to put like a down payment on the installation, and then it's like $80 a month, or it was like $79 a month, something like that. But that's what I'm saying. So Daniel's I don't obviously know what they're going to try him with and what his conviction will be.
Right.
But he has such a long road ahead of him. The fact that someone's life was involved and alcohol, you know what I mean? Like, and it's really sad because the best thing, like I can say going to the 16-week program was probably the best thing I did. And I'm not an addict. Like, I can have a drink now and be fine, and I won't drive, and like I won't get drunk. But going there and seeing what real addicts really go through was like eye-opening. Like the way people talked about wine and the way they talked about alcohol, it was like it was a person. It was actually alive. Like it was a being that they couldn't live without. And that's
high with sugar though.
Huh?
That's high with sugar, not booger sugar, but sugar.
Shit. No,
I mean that sugar, bro. Hey, ain't gonna lie, bro.
All
sugar.
those things, alcohol, sugar, those things are endorsed by our government and our world, and that's what upsets me even more because, truthfully, I don't think the legal limit to drive should be 0.08. 0.08 is going to affect you differently, then it's going to affect me, then it's going to affect you. That is not even an accurate measurement for each individual who's going to get behind a car.
Right.
I think that it should be 000 if you want to drive. So if y'all want to go out to the bar, cool, but y'all got to take an Uber. But I think America knows that if that was the law, bars would not
lose money. They would not.
Money. Yeah, they wouldn't last.
Because people that go on and drink, they only got money for they drink. They don't got money for the Uber and drinks. You know what I mean?
But you know what though? Real talk, because I don't drink or smoke, right? I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Nah, I got in an accident for smoking. My homie, yo, like
smoking weed?
Smoking weed. Let me tell you.
So a weed DUI?
Nah, but I ain't get caught though. I did. Let me tell you what happened though.
Oh, okay, good.
So hold on, now I'm gonna cut that shit out. But hold on, watch.
Plead the fifth.
Plead the fifth. You here for me? But yo, hold on, what happened? Yo, my homie, it was my last day at this job because I retired at Publix. You know Publix, right?
Yes, I know Publix. I love Publix.
5 years, you can retire after 5 years, and they give you this lump sum bread. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna retire. So my homie came when I was walking to the car, like, yo, hit this blunt with me, son. I was like, it's cool. I don't smoke, but I'm trying to play cool. Like, yo, I smoke.
Right.
Whatever he had, I don't know what that was. I smoked, and I kind of like blacked out a little bit. But I was like, nah, I got to get home because my daughter was small. I'm like, I got to get to the crib. So I came to the stoplight. It came down, and I stopped at the stop sign. Right. I saw the car coming. I saw the light, so I'm like, well, I got time. But my mind was thinking that it passed me.
Oh shit.
I pulls out right when his ass was coming out. Boo! He took me.
No, you got T-boned?
Yo, I had a Magnum. You remember the Magnum cars? The Magnum, it kind of like station wagons.
Yeah.
I had like
on a Magnum. I don't know no car Magnum.
I had like 25s on him. I mean 20. Yo, it was crazy, right? He blew me up the mountain. The cops came. So they was like, yo, you all right? I said, yeah, I just left work. So it kind of saved me because I just left work. And they was like, yo, you know, I see with your uniform on and you just coming out. You couldn't, but I was, man. So I got a DUI smoking weed because I don't smoke. And that nigga had some headbanger. Whatever that shit was in there was banging.
That don't sound like weed. That sounds like some PCP.
Nah, hell no.
Sound like that synthetic weed.
Well, nah, I don't smoke. I don't smoke though.
Out.
Well, at that time,
I guess, yeah, because you don't smoke.
No, I was hitting it though, but I was, when I tell you, because I was trying to get out of there. I'm like, yo, I gotta bounce. So like, I didn't want to be like, nah.
All your hits in.
You feel me? So I'm getting them hits in hard, like, so I'm hitting it. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Cool. Everything is slow motion.
That's what I'm saying.
Like everything is not cool.
Yo, so it wasn't like I blacked out. It just like everything just seems so like, oh shit. So that's what kind of got me like, all right, I gotta get to the crib. Let me go ahead and get there. Man, it ain't work out that way. I'm looking at that car lights. It was like, yeah, it's coming.
Oh my gosh.
Boom.
Yo.
The dude was looking at me.
Your brain was seeing the lights. Your eyes were seeing the lights, and your brain was making sense of it, thinking that it's already passed, but really they're in front of you.
Son, and the dude looking at each other like, he's like, yo, what the? You came right, yo. He probably thinking like
how he felt.
He probably thinking like, yo, you intentionally did this, dog, because like it looked like I just was like, okay, you coming? All right, hit me.
All right, I'm ready to go now.
My insurance is popping.
And he was looking at me like we looking at each other face to face, like, yo, what up, bro? Slow motion.
Oh my gosh.
So scary.
I'm so glad you're still here to talk about
Yeah.
it.
That was like my one and only accident that I can say, yo, it wasn't DUI, it's BUI. The blunt.
You know, they call that. So yeah, there's DWI is drinking while intoxicated, and then DUI is drinking or driving under the influence.
Of
Driving while intoxicated, DUI, and driving under the influence.
The cops
influence
though,
could be anything.
Yeah, the cops was like, yo, you just gotta work. Like they probably thinking like, you know what I'm saying? That it wasn't nothing crazy. The crazy part about it, I didn't even smell like weed. Like I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Outside of, you know, you weren't like in a closed area.
And the cops talking, and I'm just like, I knew something was off. Like the dude
I
was
think you're going through like shock or something. Nigga,
Son,
I probably thought.
Hell yeah, because I was upside down. I had to unbuckle my seatbelt to fall on the roof of my car to get out that bit.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
Hell
yeah, it is super scary.
So my brain was wrapped. Yo, I was scared to go to sleep because you know when you have head trauma, because I hit my head on the windshield. Yeah, so like I'm praying to God like yo, I'm gonna never smoke again because I didn't know if I was gonna die. Because yo, at this point it's fading. I'm like, am I gonna die? Like I'm like, oh shoot, I'm at the crib.
Like I can't go to sleep.
Yeah, shorty, like yo, you need to
kick that
shit together.
Don't do that shit no more. And from that point on,
get your shit together.
it is. Man, I ain't smoking no more after that shit.
Period. But it's rolling up.
We'll be back next week with the rest of episode 16. And again, we want to say leniency for Daniel Mattes. Keep him in your prayers. We pray for Cynthia and her family as well. And we thank you guys for rocking with us every episode.
Sweet.
Hold it down. Y'all be easy.
Yeah, follow us, subscribe, all that. Leave some comments. Let us know what you want to see more of or less of. Give us some
feedback. Don't get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted. Period.